Hello and welcome back to Liminal Branch Library, the archive in the seams. I'm your archivist and librarian, Mordio Crow. And tonight, we're doing a different kind of stream. That's right, it's birds time. Hitchcock called, said the birds will be arriving in your area to be photoshopped. And that they have in great number. I believe. So I don't have the full count of photos that I took, but when I got back from this trip I had about 1,600 photos. Now of course not all those photos were good, and I've deleted 300 or 400 since, ones that were slightly out of focus, blurry, etc. But yeah, a lot of birds to go through. Yeah, so many pointed mordios. Yep, so many pointed mordios, just covering up the file system there on the left for me. Yeah, a new song. I don't know, this one seemed like it would be good for peaceful forest creature gazing. 1,000 photographs. Closer to 1,600 photos taken over the course of a little over a week long trip out to one of the national parks. So, my question for those of you who are not knowers, and by that I mean not Nova, since I did tell Nova, anyone have a guess as to what this bird is? Or even just the type of bird? If not, that's completely fine. The song is sweet, you love it. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, I feel like it's a good, peaceful vibe. Do let me know if it's a little too loud though. I think I'm a good bit above it, but you know, sometimes it's hard to tell. Guessing a robin? It does have a somewhat robin shape, but sparrow is correct. Let me go over here and let's get rid of this Who That Bird image. And there he is. This is a swamp sparrow, spotted, music down a scotch. Okay. There we go. How's that? Yeah, this is a swamp sparrow, a particularly curious one, that got quite close to me on the penultimate day of my trip to Acadia National Park. This was within the park itself, near one of the main stops, I suppose, on the park loop, Sur de Mont, and I went very early in the morning, shortly after dawn, and this little guy was very interested in seeing who these strange people were and what they were carrying around with them. So was not too afraid of the camera, and I'm very happy with this photo. For a bird as small as a sparrow to get this level of look at all that feather detail. I'm not sure how well it comes across in stream. Hopefully pretty nice. But bird feet. So crisp. Yeah, exactly. Like you had the nice morning light. Only a slight obstruction here with the branch. But otherwise, I took quite a few. It was a very good start to the morning, seeing this little guy, because I had not managed to photograph a swamp sparrow before, and I'm always excited when I get a picture of a new bird that I haven't either seen or managed to photograph. But regardless of this particular bird, we have a lot of different birds to go through today, and I think we should start not with the humble swamp sparrow, though we've gotten a great look here. Perhaps with some of the more notable birds of the region that I happen to run into, namely either a puffin or a chickadee or a owl or a warbler. I think those are probably the ones that would be the most interesting to begin with. Let's see. I don't know if anyone heard those names and is interested in a particular one, but if not, let me take a quick look here and see which ones we ran into first. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Why don't we start with the barred owl, because there's a lot to say about the barred owl, and we got to see the barred owl here at the same spot, well, same part of Acadia, I should say, not the literally same spot, that I saw the swamp sparrow. So, Acadia National Park, if you are not familiar, is a park in the northeastern US and Maine, pretty far north, not too far from Canada. There's a lot of forest there, there's harbors, there's a lot of good shorebirds, a lot of... The forest is also a refuge for a lot of birds that migrate either south or north, depending on the time of year. So all in all, great place for wildlife, great place for birds, and if you're a person who enjoys seafood, especially shellfish, it's a great place for that as well. That picture goes so hard you thought it was a Lost movie poster or a music album cover. Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you liked it. But yeah, so here at Acadia, I spent about a week going around to a bunch of different spots, and one of the first places we went to was a place called Sur-de-Mont. Oh, hello Amasha, welcome. And at Sur-de-Mont, we heard that there had been barred owl sightings, which, if you couldn't tell here... Wait, where's the reverb? There it is. It made it. Was that... Wow, that reverb I think almost hit my audio. I'm just gonna back off the desktop sounds just a little bit. Thank you. Yeah, as I was saying, going to Acadia, we heard that there was an owl spotted in Sur-de-Mont, and specifically this owl had been spotted during the day. It's believed, though I did not get to see, that this owl likely has a nest with young owlets that need to be fed constantly, which is why it's up and about pretty much all times of day, looking around, hunting, grabbing things, and bringing it back to the nest. So we were able to get a good look. I was able to get a good look both on the first day I was there, as well as on the last day I was there. Yeah, that would make sense. And as we'll see with some of these pictures later, the owl was particularly eepy. So the first day, this is probably the first sight I saw of the owl. Not a particularly good picture. It is challenging in these forests, especially because I was on this trip with family. And so not everyone's a morning person, and birds you kind of really want to go in the morning or evening. Oh, that's so cute, a nice shot. Oh, the one that I had up on the branch. Yeah, I got a lot of nice little ones of it sitting up here, looking over this way. We managed to catch sight of it. One of the park rangers was nice enough, it wasn't particularly busy at the time, to take us around the areas the owl had been seen, and sure enough, we did actually manage to spot it. It actually flew across the trail and perched on one side, not immediately adjacent, off into the woods. Friend-shaped, yeah. The owl staring into your soul, and you don't know how to feel about it. Should you say all or run like the Flash to make sure it doesn't confuse your hair for a nest? Well, I don't think you have to worry about that. I don't know if an owl's going to be trying to nest in a person's hair. Might try to chase you off if you're near its nest, but I don't. Even then, I think it's more likely to yell at you than anything else. But yeah, getting a picture on this first day was a little bit challenging due to the distance, the poor lighting, the steep canopy, but still we have some potentially promising ones. I'm trying to see. It's hard for me to tell. These pictures are a bit noisy. You can probably see that as well yourself on stream. Like, there's a lot of this fuzz everywhere. It's a little bit washed out. It's all the noise from the image being taken with the shutter speed, with the ISO I had, etc. So we can denoise to try to salvage some, some of it, restore it a little, but I'm trying to find one that's a good quality to like start with, you know? Let's see, this one here, it doesn't look like there's too many branches in its face. So I'm just gonna start. Not sure if this is legible down here, but I got 23 images of this barred owl from the first day. And this is after I did an incredible amount of culling. I think I probably took 80 or 90. And I got rid of ones that were obviously bad. And after sitting here perched for a while, the owl did pretty much exactly what I was saying earlier, in that here you can kind of see that it noticed something on the ground and it proceeded to get up, swoop down, and though unfortunately it was too far away for us to be able to see exactly what it got, perhaps a squirrel, it did land on the ground and was eating something out here in the background, which was a lot of fun to be able to spot. But that was the last we saw of it. Once it went down there, flew back up and flew away. The last we saw of it for that day. But let's see if we can refine some of these images. Let's take this one here. Not too many branches. I generally apply a very light touch to editing photos. I typically will do some cropping, maybe a little bit of lighting adjustments, a little bit of sharpening if I feel it needs it, or this is both a sharpening and a dehaze tool that they got over here. So I do like to put that lightly, especially when on days when it was humid, which it certainly was. But use too much of it and it'll look over sharpened, especially with thin branches. Slap on the denoise, much like the sharpening thing. You know, you'll run into, it'll look a little too painterly if you apply it too aggressively. Let's see, do we need anything? Like, luckily the thing with an owl is it is a big bird. So you do not really need to crop in too far to have it take up a good bit of the photo. Pointing. Yeah, look at this guy. Alright, so something like this, maybe. We've cropped out a little bit to the side of this tree. We have the tree there still as sort of like a border to give some depth, some foreground. Let's see how this one will go. So for those of you who don't know, I have my own little personal website, mordiocrow.ink, which I can put in the chat right now. Oh, yes, good call. Hydrate, everyone. Let me tell you, on these long hiking days, you also need to carry a lot of water as well. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Nova. Yeah, so I have my own little website where it does have our VTuber lore, a link to our socials, like Nova and I's socials, but it also has my photo decks of different critters that I've photographed. There's 170 something on there right now. I have yet to add the ones from this trip, but yeah, that's just basically what I'm going to use these photos for. Is I'm going to upload them to that personal website of mine, especially ones where it's either a new animal or a better picture of one that I already have. So let's see. Alright, so unfortunately for this one, I think the face was just out of focus. I caught probably some of these thin branches instead. But even so, like if you just have it full, I think that's still a pretty respectable shot right there. And you have a lot of detail. Look how fluffy this owl's feathers are. So floofy. And those big talons. Those claws. You got fluffy feathers and then really sharp talons there. Floof and stab. But if we compare, I don't know if we can, I don't think we can toggle back and forth easily between the pre-edit and the post one. But like, if I just zoom in like here, see all the noise and all that. And then we go to the denoised version. We still have some amount of noise throughout the picture, but I'd rather have a little bit of noise than have it be over softened. A good bit more clarity. Let's see if we got any other good ones here. Let's try to go for one of these darker ones, maybe. We got these branches in the way, so it might not come out well. Or rather, we might have the same issue, right? Where often I do use the autofocus, just because generally it's pretty alright, but it does get tripped up by little branches and things like this between you and your target. Let's try one of these. I like this pose, but I don't think that one's particularly in focus. Oh, or maybe. Let's try this guy. Alright. Crop it in a little bit. Actually, I guess this is a good bit. This one's I think a little bit further. I don't know if you can read the numbers there in the little corner, but I'm cropping it in, but still over 4,000 by 2,800 pixels with this crop in, so still got plenty of space on the bird. Quite lorg. Yep. The camera's got a lot of megapixels. Alright, we can lighten it up just a little bit. Do the same thing with that. Oh, interesting. Just doing the defog really makes it feel so much greener. Which I think in this case, that's good. That makes for a good set. Like, maybe in a different world where I do a little bit more artsy photographs, or when I get to the point that I can, rather than just doing like ID photos, I'll play more with like color tones and things like that. But for now, I'm mostly focused on trying to bring out the best of just what's there. Yeah, you can see right here we got the branches just in front of it, I think. Alright. Now let's take a look. Now these ones I want to do down here, even though I know it's not a great photo. I kind of just want one of this little guy nestled in the ground, you know? Is how, while I'm going through these barred owls, hope everyone's been having a good day. Mine's been exhausting, but soon, this is a very relaxing stream, and after this relaxing stream, I will hopefully fall straight to Eep. Let's see. This one, maybe crop in a little further. See if I can do something. There we go, maybe something like that. Let's see how this goes. Now this day, you know, we saw this owl, but shortly after we did, there was a nature tour that was going, well, not a nature tour, a guided walk, I suppose, by one of the park rangers. Not the one who went out with us to look for it to begin with, but the other one who was there. And she also wanted to try to show that group the owl. We directed her as best we could towards the area, but she invited us to go along, and my father and I did make that journey. I was hoping, because of sort of what you see here, right? Like, these photos, solid posing. You know, you can still see some of the details, but they're not like quite that they're not quite that perfect shot, right? So I was hoping to go back and get a few more. We did not see more of the owl that day. However, on the last day, and as I was sort of mentioning earlier at the start of the stream with the swamp sparrow, just my father and I got up around dawn to go looking for birds once more. Not only did we see the barred owl as we drove back to Liminal, we saw it on a branch here. You can see it's flying away, like within minutes of getting there. We saw it on this branch and fly away. And we spotted it there after stopping because we heard a strange sound, like a strange bird cheeping that we hadn't heard before over the past few days. And when we saw the owl, we realized what it was. It was a bird alarming and warning the others that the owl was nearby. And when the owl left, we heard that a different alarm, or maybe the same bird that had moved, going off elsewhere in the forest. So using our hunter-gatherer instincts and ancestries, we managed to use the other bird's warnings to track down that owl again. And this time, I think, get pictures that were at least slightly clearer, right? Like, we don't have any of those small branches anymore. It's sitting out a little bit more in the open. There's less noise even. Let's take this one just to start. Bird said, "Panic!" Yep, exactly. One of them was putting itself out on the limb to warn off all of the others. But yeah, thankfully, even though the birds were trying to warn the others away, we were able to use them as a way to find what we were looking for. Yeah, that probably is over-sharpened if I do too much of that, but I'll put in a little bit there. Yeah, whoa, hunter-gatherer mode. Yeah, I felt very much like, what was it? Hatoful boyfriend? Isn't that one of the catchphrases of the main character? Hunter-gatherer instincts, right? Oh yeah, yep. Let's see. This one I'm not going to go in too much. I just want the owl to fill most of the photo. There we go. Let's see how this comes out. Breeze, yes. So that was the sentiment. Oh, there we go. Like, look at this guy. I don't know how much, how well it comes across over the stream, but like, I'm hoping pretty good. Looks pretty good on the preview, but like, the feather detail, the face is very nice and focused. You got that beak. You can even see the little nostrils. Love this. Yeah, me too. I'm so glad we were able to see it again on that last day, because, you know, not to badmouth the photos from the beginning, I thought they were pretty good for a first set seeing them. I knew just like, if the circumstances were slightly different, they could be a full step, maybe even a step and a half better. So, yeah, like that is clean. Let's see what else we've got here. So, what I thought was also funny here was that this owl definitely thought that my father and I were following it. Because, let me see. I think this one will show it. Yeah, so once it was up in this branch, you see here it started to close its eyes, maybe take a little bit of an owl nap or so. Yeah, take a rest from feeding all the babies. But as it had its eyes mostly closed, as my father and I circled around to get a better view at it, its head kept moving to follow us, which You know, that makes sense. We're large, strange creatures that it's not, you know, particularly aware of, right? So it makes sense that it was kind of looking our way, but like right here even, you can see it's like, it's looking directly at me, even though its eyes are closed for the most part. But just staying alert, making sure we don't make any sudden movements. I don't think we disturbed it in any meaningful way, and it was still on that branch when we left the area. But it's just, I don't know, it looks so comfy. Almost like it's like upper feathers almost being like a little pillow to sink its head into. It's like, you're weird, but I'm tired. Exactly. And you know, I'm sure it is exhausting to... I actually don't know. I didn't look up. I meant to look up how many owlets barred owls tend to have, right? You know, some birds tend towards specific numbers, whether that's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. I don't know what the barred owl is like. But yeah, regardless, feeding baby birds constantly is sure to be a tiring task. So let's see, do you want a vertical one or a... I can get all of the bird. Something like this, maybe. Where do I want? There we go. Do that. Throw on some denoise. Ooh, alright. I like when I put on the lighting adjust tool and the computer thinks, nah, you're good. I don't think we got much to do here. Makes me feel good about the shot. Alright, let's see how this one comes out. Let's see, that's the first one. Here we go. Look at this guy. Just what are you doing? Will you leave me alone so I can sleep? We were a good distance away still, though. Of course. I want to say it was in like the second row of trees off the path. But it was a little bit of a clearing, so the lighting was good. Yeah, wow, it's already turning out. Yeah, these ones... I'm someone who loves the really tiny birds, right? But whenever I take a break from photographing a really tiny bird and get to break isn't the right word. Whenever I get to photograph something larger, like an eagle or an owl or even just a gull, oh, it's so nice because of how large they are and how much nicer that makes most of the photos. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for our barred owl. After this sighting, we left it in peace and we went to explore the rest of Sur de Mont in its early dawn state. So, I pose this question to you, chat. What birds would you most be interested in seeing next? In particular, we have a puffin. We have puffins, which are a big highlight of going out that way. We have chickadees, of which I have a significant number of good photos, as well as some silly ones. Or we have a warbler, which is noteworthy because that one not only is pretty tough, was pretty tough for me to photograph. I was able to get one doing some dynamic shots as it was feeding one of its young. If anyone has any opinions, now's the time to mention them. Puffins. I hear puffins. Hello, Average Peanut Butter. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. We are looking at bird pictures. Do you love puffins? Alright. That's 2. Let's take us to Puffin Day. So puffins were probably the single bird that I had the most of. You'll see that some of these... Not all these photos are going to be great, especially compared to the owl. One, puffins are much smaller. And two, I mean, I was on a boat and sort of far away, but also the day we went out to sea to look for puffins, it was actually very foggy. A friend and I have decided to make sirens turn into puffins. Ooh, that's fun. That's fun. I like that a lot. Yeah, puffins are such neat birds, and we'll see with some of these photos that, you know, they also have some very striking markings too. Can't quite tell as well from here, but like I was saying, right, I'll leave us on this one as I tell the start of the story, but the way going out to see puffins is from Bar Harbor, Maine, is you kind of need to get on a boat and go away for like 30 minutes to an hour. Go out to some of the more remote islands a little bit further to see. So we were going through fog for a good bit of it. Oh, fishy. Yeah, this one's got a fish. Some of the terns that I photographed in this same trip also were carrying back fish, because much like the owl, the puffins and terns also had a bunch of chicks. Now, unfortunately, I was unable to see any tern or puffin chicks myself, but the naturalist who was our tour guide on this boat was talking about how even through the fog we would be able to see them coming and going to the island if the fog didn't break, because the parents would go out, grab stuff, and fly it back. And sure enough, before the fog broke, we did see several birds flying through with fish. I did capture, I think, a tern flying in the fog with a fish, but not a puffin flying. This one is just as the fog was starting to lift. I think we have some better ones if we go a little further, that rather than try to start with that one. Okay, so this one even right away is already a bit clearer. We do have a fish over here. We got someone swimming down here. We got one facing away. I'm gonna put a star on this one to come back. So, my process for photos, I got these, you know, I'm sure most photo editors have it, right? But you can like star your photos. I like to put a 4 or 5 on something that I really like. And I'll put a 1 or 2 on something where I'm like, I will probably delete this, but I want to make sure there's something unique about that photo, and I want to make sure that I don't delete it before confirming something else that has it. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Head straight up in the air. Truly a posed and poised bird. I'll mark this one as a potential one. Yeah, head so high. Head so high. I'll mark this one as a potential one to refine as well. I think I have 2 or 3 of that sort of pose. Oh, yep, look, here's another one, this time a little bit from the side. I don't think the focus is quite as crisp, but I'll mark it all the same. I wonder what they're doing in that case, like if they're swallowing a fish maybe, or what, but yeah, so it looks like I have 76 photos of puffins in here, and that is with me having deleted a lot of them. Oh, okay, here we go. I forgot, I already marked some of these with stars. This one seems like a good one to start with. Right here. Now, again, lighting's not great. I had the shutter speed up pretty high, but we were still in like a good bit of fog. Ooh, that's too much though. The defog can get a little aggressive there. We'll run a denoiser on it too. Yeah. Oh, nice pose. That's what Professor Oak would say. Right? And that's exactly the thought I had as this was happening too. Let's see, somewhere around here. Alright, let's see how this one comes out. I'm hoping, Sometimes it's hard for me to tell with the noise if like the focus is on point until I actually run the denoiser. Let's see how we got here. Okay, I mean, like, we can't zoom in much further. We did have to crop in quite a bit. So if we go in too far, it does start to blur a bit. But I think for the distance and everything I had, like, this is pretty solid. A good pose. We got the definition in the wings here. Overall relative sharpness, and that fish is being chomped. It is thoroughly hunted. Alright, let's see, what else do we got? Oh yeah, it's bisected. Mm-hmm. Let's see, what else do we got around here? I got some other ones that I apparently pre-rated. I must have pre-rated some when I was going through and clearing stuff out. Okay, this one is sans fish, but otherwise a similar, you know, wing up sort of pose. It was a little bit later in the day, so maybe the lighting will help us here, just in the quality of the bird itself. Though, of course, as you can see, still relatively small in frame, right? So we'll crop in a bit. We'll run it through the denoiser. Oh, ooh, that's way too sharp there. That one looks like about right. Let's see how this one goes. Now, like I was saying earlier, I do tend to use a very light touch on photos, though sometimes if I only have a couple photos of a bird and it's particularly, you know, dark or similar, I will try a little bit harder to save it with heavier editing. Ooh, I think I just had not quite high enough shutter speed to fully capture this moment as like a crisp snap. Still, it's relatively good as long as you don't peek in too close. And I like, once again, I like the feather definition. You can really see the underflue feathers there. So soft looking and still dry, you know, despite being in the water. Let's see. What else do we got? We've got one just floating along. Oh, we got two little... This one on the right here looks so... I don't know, life preserver. Like, its whole body is floating. I guess it must just be like how the wave is going or whatever. I don't know, very marshmallow. Maybe we'll edit this marshmallow one. Let me see, what else do we have here? We've got two more floating. Donut. Okay, these two look like they might be pretty... they might come out pretty good. There was one point where, for the most part, my family and we stayed on the top deck outside. Not only was there the most seating there, but, you know, you had that 360 sort of panorama view, when people weren't standing and blocking everything, of course. We stayed up there most of the time, but there was one point where I went to one of the lower decks to use the restroom. I managed to find a place that wasn't completely blocked off, and I think that's what these are from. You could tell for like the slightly different angle, right? I think it was probably still the same sort of overall distance away, but I was able to be a little bit more level with them. Alright. Let's take a photo of the marshmallow. These guys, there we go. Maybe just a little more. Let's see how that one comes out. And then check. We can process the other one too and then come back. So that we did this one. And I want to say, yeah, okay, this one's the other one that I thought had some potential. Let's do a vertical crop for these guys. Boop. Plop that right there. And somewhere around there. Somewhere around here. So I found the Puffin trip, like boat ride and all that, very nice. It was, for me at least, a highlight of the trip. Not to mention because of the way the fog did lift shortly after we arrived at the island. I thought it was a very, I don't know if narratively satisfying is quite the word I'm looking for, but like, you know, you make the journey through the fog and it's cold and the sea is a bit rocky, and then you arrive there and you can see some birds, first shadows moving through the fog. You catch a somewhat clear glimpse of them as they dart by, like where you can actually tell what it is and it's not just a shadow. And then a lighthouse starts to emerge from the fog and the island itself. And then you realize you're surrounded by all these little birds in the water. So like, it was a very, to me at least, it was a very fun journey. I know some of my siblings did not have as great of a time due to seasickness. And I mean, unfortunately, they are small birds far away. And so without binoculars, not the easiest things to see. And while both my siblings do photography as well, I do have the setup most geared towards small birds far away, right? Like I've hyper specialized into bird photography in a way that they have not. So they had it a little bit rougher. It does sound nice. Cinematic when point that way. Yeah, cinematic. Picturesque. Oh, okay. I think this one right here, you slap some text on this. This is a motivational poster. Right? Like, it's got the room for it. Maybe just would crop to slightly different proportions if you were doing a poster, something a little bit squarer. What is the motivational saying for this? Puffin of the Sea, what motivational saying would you have? I'll take a sip of water while I think about this. I mean, just keep swimming would be classic. Would be a classic one. Keep fishing. Keep fishing, similar sort of sentiment there. Put something silly about spending time at the ocean, right? Like, I'd rather be at the beach right now. That's not a motivational poster, is it? But it is a silly one that I could see. Yeah, I guess I don't have... Let me see if I can find some pictures of the island. Become ungovernable. Become ungovernable is good. Told you the sink was leaking, Barbara. Also a good one. Also a very good one. Yeah, this would definitely be a... Please remember to turn off the faucets before you leave. Right? Posted in, like, the employee kitchen. Or if there's, like, a shower room or something. I'm going to go into my environment shot folder here and see if I have photos of... Okay, let's see. Alright, you'll probably see a little bit in the previews down below, but... So this is not the island of the Puffins that we went to. But this was the sort of sights that we were seeing when we could see anything at all that morning as we traveled. Like, I love this like thin strip of land with the clouds behind it and the fog below it. It's I don't know, it's like a little spooky, little mystical, a lot of fun. So I took a good number of pictures. I have more on my phone that are probably a little better. Like I mentioned, my camera setup's more suited towards narrow view, straight ahead for a long distance rather than wide views or anything like that. But I don't know, just seeing this sort of stuff was a lot of fun. And then not quite this one. Here was the lighthouse emerging from the fog on the island of the Puffins. Yeah, high spec into bird, exactly. Like this started as a silhouette, or actually no, it started as nothing. Like just a gray wall, and then we could see the dark shadow of the lighthouse slowly manifesting as the fog cleared. And on this island, which is I believe it's Petit Manan, something like that. There's actually a group of science researchers, or bird researchers, I should say, who live on that island at least part-time and research the terns and the puffins that roost there. And so they were out there doing some work, checking on the tern nests while we were nearby, which had all the terns up and flying around. Well, I shouldn't say all, a lot of them fly around. That's neat, yeah. Like there's little, I assume that's like a blind for them to go inside of and like sit and observe without being noticed. Though for certain activities, I think it's hard to not be noticed. You probably can see in some of these photos, like there's little birds everywhere. There's a couple of terns sitting up on top of the little solar panel setup they've got there on the island. I'm sure it's not exactly a luxurious place to stay. It does seem pretty neat to just like be out there in nature with the critters. Let's see. Alright. That's it for the island. But here, before we move on, one other picture of like environment from that day after we left the Puffins behind is look at this little island with the fog like literally rolling over it, right? Like, isn't that cool? I'm not a environmental scientist, a physics scientist, or anything like that, but I just think that's really neat, and it makes me want to go read up on why it happens and learn all of that information. And maybe I still will someday, but not today, or at least not before this stream. Yeah, point. It's really cool. Really, really cool. Alright. Yeah, I think that's it for Puffins. I would have loved for one that was a little bit more, like just like a little bit sharper or a little bit nicer. But we got two very good dynamic poses. We've got one marshmallow. We've got one motivational poster. So I think overall, I'm pretty happy with my first foray into Puffins. And man, what neat and striking birds. While we're here with Puffins, I mentioned Chickadees and Warblers. Let me see if I have any good terns. Any good terns to share. There are two types of terns. The common and the Atlantic tern. Right now I'm looking through the common tern photos. In this one here, though of course it is, you can tell it's incredibly foggy. It is what I was talking about earlier. One of the terns flying by with a fish in beak that we were able to see. Yep, there's a second one. Or maybe it's the same one, just taken a slightly different time. We were able to spot more terns through the fog. This one? Or this one? This one looks like it might still come out okay. I mean, certainly it's not going to be amazing, but like it looks like it might come out decent with a gentle touch here. Like, I think the tern was flying just inside the fog. I hopefully have the right shutter speeds and all that to actually capture the movement. I finally got my camera controls set up somewhere. I'm by no means an expert photographer. I am getting better at it. Certainly, as something that I've now done on multiple trips as like a focus. Alright, I'd say that we can't zoom in too close, but like you can see the definition, the feathers of the wing, clear, crisp shape. No eye is a little unfortunate, but that's to be expected of the fog. Dang, these poses look great. I might have to check out some of these. Maybe I can get some gesture drawings in if you have time. Yeah, honestly, birds make such interesting poses sometimes. You know, whether it's odd shapes while preening, you have Terns cut such a striking figure in the air. Like, seeing a tern out at sea, I feel like it's pretty easy. Once you know what they are, it's pretty easy to be like, that is a tern just from the wing shape. They have a very dramatic wing shape, you know? A lot of character to it. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, let's see. Do I have any better ones we can do? Here's a comedic one. This is a tern's bottom, as it is sticking its face underwater. No, my family does find these ones pretty funny. Honestly, I find them kind of funny too, just... Oh, bird diving. Oh, they're back. Like, even here, on the surface, the wings and tail have such a dramatic up shape. Blah, 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 yeah. See, those ones were funny, but not necessarily like the most crisp or clean. This one looks a little blurry, unfortunately. I might get rid of that one. This one, ooh, facing straight on. It probably won't come out good. I'll put it at a 3. See what else we got. A little bit of an angle there. You try to fly, but fail miserably. Alright, they're getting a little sharper. Another one flying. Weirdly, this one looks like it's got a little bit more motion blur than the one in the fog. Maybe this one. That one's certainly slightly out of focus. Ooh, same. Alright. We've got our 3 target photos here. We got one more in flight and then one on the water. Interesting silhouette on these. Yeah. These wings, they give them a very defined, very particular silhouette. It's like they say, you know, when you're designing a character, you want to make sure they cut a distinct silhouette, and so Terns are particularly well-defined characters in that sense. This defogger, I think, sometimes really over does it by default. Really gotta tune that down a little. Alright, let's get that one. Let's get this forward-facing one on the water. And we'll see how these ones come out. We'll check the other tern as well. Alright, let's see what how did these two come out? Yeah, unfortunately this one not very in focus. That's unfortunate. Yeah, the sky shots, this one is crisper than the fog one on the wings and body at least. I think we've lost a little bit more of the face just due to the lighting of the time of day. Now we have the sun coming in, so for harsher shadows, and we completely lose the eye of the bird here. Basically every other part of it is nice and well defined. Good biffs, yep. Good birds in flight. I think the water and the reflections probably worked against me for some of these. Let's take a look at these. Oh, I only have 2 Atlantic terns, so... Oh, but one has a fish! That's a decently sharp one. Okay, let's see. This wing down, wing up. Let's check out this wing down one first. So this one is a different species of tern, though of course very similar. One of the defining differences of the Atlantic versus the common tern when they are adults is the tip of their beak. The Atlantic has a pure red beak the whole way, whereas the common will have black at the end of its beak, but it'll have like the red on the it'll still have red for most of it, but it'll have black on the end. So that's what I mainly have used to tell them apart. But I don't know, there's other ways as well, I'm sure. But that to me has been the most useful one, especially since, like I said earlier, I haven't really been photographed. I didn't really see any of the small ones. So that meant that, you know, I'm basically just seeing the fully grown adults anyway. I'm gonna leave the lighting adjustments off. I feel like that gives the shadow, makes the shadows a little too harsh. Let's see how this guy goes. Honestly, I don't know if that improved it any over the original photo. Like, I think keeping the noise would be worth it for this particular one. Yeah, like it looks a little bit sharper, a little bit nicer with the noise than having it all splotched out. But yeah, another one with a fish to go feed to the young ones. Alright, I think I'm going to... Oh wow, it's 9:30. We've spent so long on just a few birds. Let's move back into let's move back inland here, and let's look at what I think it was on this day. Let's look for that black-throated green warbler. This set is a set that I had a lot of fun with because, oh yep, there it is, very first picture. Observe this orb. This is a baby black-throated green warbler. Honestly, I think that if I saw this bird all by itself, it would have been impossible for me to figure out what type of bird it was. But luckily, it wasn't by itself. Floof. Yes, exactly. Look, it's so small and fluffy. And I like how you can see the yellow starting to come in, right? Like, it's not quite got it fully in there. It's still mostly a gray bird, but it's starting to get some of that yellow. You're just sitting there, looking adorable, looking around. You know, funnily enough, when there was a parent with the young, it was often easier to photograph the child because the child would just be sitting around screaming, right? Like trying to get the parent to feed it. Whereas the parent would be moving around, foraging, hiding, etc. So by finding the baby and keeping the camera on the baby for the most part, you're able to also see the parent. So this one, the parent's not in focus. But I love the expression of the child here, so much so that I might still edit this one anyway. The child just being like, feed me, please. I'm so hungry. Why aren't you feeding me? Father, aren't you going to feed me? But the parent here was flying back and forth and bringing this bird, this little guy, so much food. I desire worms. Yes, exactly. I can't remember if it was this parent-child pair or a later parent-child pair I saw on the same trail. I do have a photo of the baby actually getting fed. I try to find it. Oh yeah, I showed this one to Nova. I don't know if this is going to come across as well on stream, but like this one, I took this picture, and this picture feels photoshopped to me. Like, just as it is, this bird does not feel like it belongs in this photo. Like it looks like someone cut it out and just pasted it over a tree in the way they do, like, I don't know, birds for bird baths. Something about its pose, how it's just kind of standing there, how like the I don't know, shadows, there's no shadows from the tree itself on it or anything like that. But even though the bird's slightly out of focus, I really like this picture because of how silly it looks. So I'm gonna mark this one for editing too, but really editing might just ruin that. Let's see, we got the head of the bird. Where's the rest of those baby feeding pictures? Oops. Oh no. Put it back. Back there. There we go. I accidentally dragged the bottom bar up. Up there. Oh, here's one with worm. Might be getting close to it unless I passed it. Oh, this one's a good one. Nice, crisp. At least it seems like it's crisp. See the worm, the side of its face. Here is, once again, we're back to Bebe. Screaming baby. Looking for food. Oh yes, looking good. Sit around, crying, screaming. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. Here's where the really, where the feeding is. Right at the end, you could see the baby opening that mouth. The parents got some sort of bug, and then, oh. Just ate the parent's whole face. Nom nom nom. I'll start with this one. This one's funny. Like, I would have... Oh, what I wouldn't give for there to not be that one little branch in front of the parent's face. But, you know, we take what we can get. This is still probably one of my favorite photos that I took that day. That first one was creation of Adam. Thank you for the roses, Keys. And yes, you made it. You made it just in time to see a baby bird being fed. Now, these are black-throated green warblers. And no one here... Well, I don't know if anyone here is colorblind, but to me at least, this one on the right doesn't look particularly green. It does look, in fact, yellow. I'm not sure where the green comes in. Definitely more of a yellow bird, my approximation, but... and they kiss and they're both birds. Yeah, I think in this case it's more, and one was fed, and one was the parent, and went wah 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 wah. But, you know. Yeah, let's see. I want to edit both of these, both the actual feeding here, as well as the one that Nova called, the creation of Adam. The underbelly is kind of greenish. I guess so. I guess a little bit. If you want to be generous to the people who name birds, which honestly we should never be. People who name birds are not very good at it. In fact, if any of you were at or remember Nova's birthday bird quiz, the red-bellied woodpecker is, for me, a particularly egregious example. That bird has red, it's not on its belly. I agree, yellow. Yeah, but the red-bellied woodpecker has red, not on its belly, it's on the top of its head. Is it supposed to be a bird that's red, comma, and has a belly? I don't know. Or the one that's just named like so-and-so's something. You named Skittle though, that's true, I did name Skittle. And I think that was a pretty good bird name. That one's a pretty good bird name. Blue boobies exist, but their feet are blue, not their boobies. It's so strange. Yep. It's a red-bellied woodpecker as opposed to a red-bellied woodpecker. Yep. That's exactly the sort of nonsense that I'm talking about. Oh, blue-footed boobies, but hey. Oh, there you go. Alright, on this one... Ooh, the parent's head is just out of focus because I think they're just starting to move to deliver the food unto the baby, but the baby, crisp, clean as they await the food. God, you could... Honestly, if I zoom in a bit, it does start to get a little bit grainier. But like, I can see a couple pin feathers, I think is the term, on like the chin of this baby. Like there's one right around where I'm putting my mouse right now. It's like, oh, it looks so itchy. You gotta itch the bird to get the feathers out. Oh, and then here's the blah, 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 blah. Very fun. Oof, yeah. Yeah, like it looks so itchy. But at least it looks, you know, slightly more of a creature than a baby bird. Baby birds look like they're having a rough time a lot. Alright, let's see. This one might be slightly out of focus. I'm really hoping that the baby is going to be in focus here. But looking at them, I think it's a slight focus miss. So sometimes I'd be hard pressed to remember which times. But sometimes I do go manual focus, which for birds this small is, for me, I'm not a professional, very difficult to manually focus on these guys before they move, right? So I do really have to rely on the auto, but let's see if we can get anything good there. And one has tasty tonsils. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, I'm with Nova on that one. Tasty tonsils. I don't know if I like that phrase. You're a professional amateur? Nice. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's probably where I consider myself as well. Does anyone else here do photography? Let's do this screaming one. Little screaming one. You know, it doesn't have to be bird specific. In fact, I'd be a little surprised if someone here did bird specific photography and the subject has literally never come up before. Oh, Cyronius. Feel free to tell me how to pronounce your name. Welcome. And you're a photographer, streamer, part of Photo Fam. Exciting. You've shot some birds, but not often. Ooh, very nice. Cyronius. Well, welcome. Shot some birds, so you take pictures of birds just when the opportunity arises. You have a particular favored subject, pets, landscapes, people. Welcome. I hope you're enjoying our bird photography yapping session. A lot of street portrait cosplay. Ooh, cosplay. That's fun. I mean, all of them are fun, but that's neat. Have you been to any of the recent conventions? I know that there's been a lot of them going on. could link your Insta if you're curious. Yeah, feel free to throw it in there. I'm not going to look right now while on stream, but I'll go back and give it a check later. I think links are permitted. If not, Nova might have to permit it. Oh, yep, there we go. I see it. I see it. Anyone else who's listening in, feel free to take a peek if you'd like. I'm gonna edit one or two more of these warblers before I move on to the next bird. Alright, let's see. That might be too far in. Vertical here. Oh yeah, maybe a vertical one here. Slide it over a little. Yeah. Alright, that's a good one. That's a good one. Slide that there. This, a little bit of that. Now, have you, Cyronius, have you been doing photography for a long time? Are you a professional, a hobbyist? I don't know exactly when you came in, but certainly, I consider myself more on the hobbyist, amateur type. You've been shooting since July 2021, so that's a good amount of time. You went pretty hard into it. On the Nikon Z8. Ooh, okay, the name and number is familiar to me. I'm on a Canon camera, so the exact details of the Nikons are a bit unknown to myself. But that's fun. And I don't know, you said you went pretty hard into it, so hopefully that means you've got to shoot a lot of different people, places, events. This one I think came out pretty good. Like, it's just, the sharpness is just like no, actually no, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. You can even see the little inchworm, the poor little inchworm, doomed. Someday you'll have a nice camera. Oh, yeah, I think, having a nice camera just feels good when you do get to use it and take some nice photographs. Do you have a particular subject you're most interested in, Amasha? Like, are you looking for, like, landscapes, people, crafts? Like, what kind of stuff there? Z8 is pretty close to the R5. Got it. Okay, that I do have some context for. I'm on an R7 myself since I do primarily shoot birds, so I like that crop sensor. I mean, this bug looks like some manner of inchworm to me. I'm sure it is I'm sure there's hundreds of different species. It'd be kind of hard for me to tell which it is exactly, but oh my, excellent shot. Thank you. Let's see what else we've got here in these edits. I still love this one. I don't know, just I'm hungry. Oh, and actually, looking close, I wonder if this is a different baby from later on. In this particular place where we were taking shots, there was a good number of parents and children all feeding. So this one might be a different baby, just because it looks like it has more of the neck feathers, a little less itchy there. You enjoy macro, usually plants, but also jewelry. Taking picture of animals, but they're never clear. Yeah, animals are hard, especially if they're tiny animals. Oh yeah, unfortunately this one's not quite. Just that ever so close focus miss. We got that branch instead. That's unfortunate. But alright, let's see. I'll call it there for the warblers. Yeah, I think macro up close stuff is fun. Something that we had on one of these days. Maybe I can find it right now since we're about to switch. I definitely want to go look at the chickadees before we go. Before we end the stream, but I think it was Jordan Pond. Yeah, here we go. Got it looks like a freshly molted dragonfly. Like you can see the former, like, you know, the old shell exoskeleton, right? Like right below it. Like this is really cool. Unfortunately, we couldn't linger there too long. Like it was right on the side of the trail, and it was a pretty narrow path, and there were a lot of people going both directions, so I couldn't stay too long for pictures. One of these, I hope, will be pretty clear. A little afraid that I might have not got like a completely clean. I guess I should have asked if people had problem with bugs, but like, I don't know, this is just so cool. Look at all that detail on those wings. Oh, yeah. Oh, taking pictures of your pins was always so hard. I forget what kind of... I think Nova you had a Nikon for your product shots, right? I don't know what lens you have. I think you still have it. I don't remember what it was like though. Let's high res this. Yeah, you think? All right, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, that head's just like a little blurry, but man, ooh, the wing detail, the central part of the body. Like honestly, it's a little gross, but also really cool. The like thin, almost looks like when you get a new piece of technology and it has like that thin plastic sheet to like unwrap. I imagine that's not what that is. But like, oh, and look at the little ridges. You can see the little ridges on its wing. Little bumps. You haven't touched in a while, sad? Yeah. Haven't been making pins. It's so strange, look. It is. Like the translucent sort of exoskeleton. You have an EOS camera on your throne? Ooh. Yeah, do you have, like you said, jewelry and plants and stuff like that? Do you have any particular plants or items that you're most excited to take a photo of if and when you do get that camera? Instead of a photo, I should say photos of. Alright, let's see. I'm going to, well, with this one, let's go to which day had the good chickadee photos. So I've photographed chickadees almost every day. They were quite common out and about in the area. Let's see. Oh yes, okay, here's a good series. Here's a good series of photos. Flowers, also whatever plants you can get growing on your porch. Yeah, I like taking pictures of interesting flowers when I see them. Of course, it was middle of summer, so there weren't too many up on this particular trip. This is not the best picture of a chickadee, but we can see here it's looking upwards, right? And if we go to the next picture, it's squatted a little bit. We go to one after that, and if you're looking at the preview, you might be able to guess what happens next. Neum! There it goes! Fires itself upwards like a tiny missile into the sky. I don't know, I think photos like this, your rocket bird, neum! One of my favorite genre of photos, and I don't think I have too many of them from this trip, is like when a bird has just started to hop off a branch. So like they don't really look like they're flying yet, or anything like that, but like they're no longer connected. Looks almost like they're being abducted in a tractor beam. Here's one hanging upside down. Honestly, it looks like, you know, I want to process this one because I want to try to see what it's doing. It looks to be like it's pulling on a spider web. I don't know if that's very clear here. I don't know whether it's eating the spider or eating a bug that was in the web, but you can kind of see the strand stretching on the branch that goes to its beak. At the place that my family was staying in Bar Harbor, there was a bird feeder. However, it was obvious that the bird feeder had not had much attention in a while, and all of the food on the outside was like solidified. So there were birds that were at it, but they couldn't actually eat. So my father cleared it out, and we saw chickadees and chipping sparrows mostly come to the feeder over the course of our stay. And while not this particular chickadee, okay, yeah, wow. So once we've denoised it and cleared that up, you know, I'm not entirely sure what that is. Because if it's a spider web, it's like a single strand. Like, I don't see any other webbing around. It's like a piece of plant sinew. Wow, so much clearer now. Yeah, just like a little bit of sharpening and denoising. Like nothing too extreme. You can obviously still see all the noise that we've got around here. But I really wonder what it is, what it once got there. A piece of... Honestly, it could just be like a piece of plant matter that landed here at some point that it's grabbing. Or maybe it already had it in its beak and it's like twisting it around. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's curious. But unfortunately, just a snapshot. I'll take a look down here. Oh, here we go. So, like I was saying, my father cleared out the feeder, and a few days later, I was outside, and in a shrub next to the feeder, I saw this guy, and I don't know if this bird recognized me as one of the people on the inside of the house who had liberated the feeder or what, but it was a very brave, like I was very close to this tiny bird. Like surely within, I don't know, surely within 10 feet. Oh, maybe even half that. Like there was a bit of shrubbery between us. I tried to give it some distance so it wasn't scared of me, but like, it sat here and hung out for a good long while. Let me take pictures of it. And thanks to that, I got some pretty quality chickadee photos. Let's see how this one cleans up. Now, of course, unfortunately, it was a cloudy day. There's a canopy above us, and it's in a shrub. So even though the chickadee itself was close, I don't think I moved my shutter speed down low enough to really make up for the, the darkness there. Aspiring model bird, exactly. Let's see, do we got any good front-facing one? Oh, this one looks good. Just framed in the color green, all sort of blurred, but the bird itself should be in focus once we get to those processed ones. We don't need that much. There we go. Let's send that one in. I might have a picture of it singing too. I don't remember if... I know I took some, but I don't remember if any of them were ones that actually came out, and I may have deleted them if they were all too blurry. I think this is probably the closest one I got here, so we'll do this one as well, and then we'll go take a look. Alright, let's see. Do that. Run it through the denoiser. Do a vertical one here. Send that one over. Let's see what we got. Let's see what this aspiring model bird has for us. Wow. Look at this guy. See all the little feather textures. Just a little face. Chickadees are one of my favorite birds. And I think they have been for a very long time. Partly because they are very Pokemon-like and say chickadee-dee-dee-dee, which is, I think, adorable. I can tell this lad is small. Yes, indeed. This is quite a tiny little lad. Oh, look at this face. Look at this face. It's got little fluffy cheeks. About this one here. Oh, this. Now this is the model pose right here, right? Head slightly turned, eye facing towards you. I think this bird should get the modeling job. We gotta put a product, an item right here, and a tagline over here. Thumbs up. Ooh, and this one, you can actually just barely see. I don't know how well it comes across on stream. Maybe if I zoom in really far, though, then it starts to get a little blurry. But you can actually see the color in its eye there, like the ring of brown in its eye, which when you can catch that ring of color in a bird's eye, always makes me so happy. Yes, yes. So I was very grateful for this little guy showing up. I thought it was just like, I have so many pictures of chickadees, but it's always nice to get like some good quality and all that. And yeah, when you see the brown of Skittle's eye, it makes you happy. Alright, I know we're approaching 10, but there's a couple more birds that I want to get through. Some of them a little faster than others. Or rather, won't take as long as others. Let's take a look first at this. I wanted to show these wild turkeys. Unfortunately, I do not have the best photographs. This first one is through a screen and a window, which is why it looks absolutely awful. But you can at least tell that there is one adult turkey, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mini turkeys all running. Like, this was a very fun thing to see. Yeah, oh my god, yeah, that was basically my reaction too. Now unfortunately, it being through a screen window wasn't gonna be good. And they were moving. These guys were schmoving along, so they didn't linger. You never saw the babies? Yeah, they're so tiny. Oh, here's a parent taking a quick sip. I think I have an edited version of one of these already, of just like the parent with its head here. You can, even in the unedited version, you can see the color ring in the eye there. You had wild turkeys out where you grew up, but they just swarmed the road during mating season. Oh no. That sounds like a hazard. Now, unfortunately, they very quickly went into the brush, and so I wasn't able to get great pictures of the babies, which is what I was trying to do. Here's one where it's like the head is mostly in focus as the body goes. The thing I do like about these types of photos where the head is in focus is it shows off that gyroscopically stable bird head. Right? Like how they're able to keep their head still as the rest of their body moves. Like, that's fun. There were many hazards. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I'm sure a lot of places have deer problems, but I grew up in an area with lots of deer, so certainly I understand the idea, if not the exact creature. They're so small. Stop. Yes, they are. Yeah, but like, I don't know, there's this one here, and then none of these are particularly clear. I got a handful of them just like they're just preening and being fluffy in the light. Looking around. I'm not going to edit these ones right now just because it is close to the end of stream, and there's at least one more bird I wanted to cover that was new to me that I thought was visually interesting. Sticking out that neck. What's over there? Alright, let's see. So the one bird that was new to me that we haven't seen yet. Oh wait, no, there's two more I want to show. I want to show the common yellowthroat because this is another example of bird babies being very funny. Deer, buzzards, turkey, javelina, porcupine, jackrabbits, fox, boar, or the occasional escaped horse or cow. Oh no. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of hazards. Alright. Okay, let's see. Here we have a baby common yellowthroat. Now, we have an adult one right here. It's not a good picture. I have a better picture of the adult later. But this baby one was spotted somewhere else from that first set of pictures. So posed right here. We gotta edit this one. We got look at that fluff ball hanging up there. So dramatic. We can get the foreground on the left, foreground on the right, the background on the left. Let's do that. Oh, yeah, seeing all the little baby birds. I don't know, it's nice. And like I said earlier, it's also very helpful. Because the baby birds squeak a lot, which means it's much easier to find them. Alright, so we'll edit this one. Let's edit the whole set and then we'll go look. Here, I don't think this is the clearest photo. Wait, this one's cute too. We gotta edit that one. I'll come back to that one. I started a sentence. Here you can see it foraging a bit in this snapped off tree. I assume looking for some bugs or something to eat. I don't think... It looks like it's biting at something in there. It's hard to tell if it actually got anything. There it is with its little face again. We'll edit one of these as well. Let me do this one. Add in the denoising, as always. So something that I've learned on this particular trip, or rather something that I want to get more comfortable with, I always knew, right? But so up until now, I've sort of had struggle getting sharp photos of birds. Certainly I've gotten sharp ones before, but I take a lot of ones. I take a lot of photos, and my hit rate in previous trips hasn't been as good, right? Where a higher percentage was out of focus. This one I feel like my in focus percentage has really gone up. So I think one of the things I need to consciously focus on for future outings is using slower shutter speeds when the occasion allows to try to deal with the noise, right? Almost every photo of mine is noisy because I'm very rarely shooting under 1/500th of a... Is under or over the right thing? I'm usually shooting anywhere between 1/500th of a second to 1/2000th, 1/2000th of a second, right? To try to make sure I get those crisp images, because birds, they hop around a lot, and especially these small ones, right? They get pretty... What's my telephoto lens? I have the RF100-500. So, and I know on the R7, their light handling isn't the best, but otherwise pretty good. Oh, nice. Yeah, like the R7 with the 100 to 500 is, I can see why everyone says that's a very solid birding combo. Like, it has been working very well for me, and I feel like has allowed me to get a lot of photographs. Before using that, I used the RF100-400, which I made sure to establish myself that I was going to continue this hobby before I allowed myself to buy the 100-500 because, oof. But here we have a family photo where you can see the common yellowthroat adult here on the right, and then 3 little babies all hanging out. Now this was a set that you could really hear as they moved by. Like all 3 of the young were going peep 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 peep. So it was like a nice little swarm, very easy to follow. Let's see, this one's pretty good. Let's see if there's any of. Oh, I wish I had a slightly different angle. Like I wish I was viewing this from like 60 degrees to the right. Because I would love, you can kind of see this baby's beak. Like, look at how open this beak is. Like, how wide. I would love to get that in a profile view. That would be very funny. But I'll still probably process that one too, just to get the baby screaming at the parent. And the parent moves away. Like, actually, I'm out of there. Okay, wait, but we get the parent stink eye there. Yes, it's true. Look at this one with its tiny yellow beard. It's the tiniest little, like even those feathers there look like they're either fresh ones in or something, but like it's got this little tiny beard. The goatee, yep. Alright, this one, I'll probably the other ones in focus here, yeah. Alright, so we got anything else? Oh, and there's a common yellowthroat. This is a separate one. It may be the same bird. This wasn't too far. Wasn't too far from where those other pictures were taken, but was a, I don't know, 3-minute walk or so, and we went somewhere else first. So that could be the parent without the children, or it could just be a different one. In an area like this, there's probably plenty of them. So probably just a different one. Let's process these guys, and then I wanted to look at the northern Parula ones. Not that I have as many good ones, but it's just a very neat looking bird. Yellow goatee chickadee. That would be a good name for a chickadee if it actually had a yellow goatee. It would. Oh yeah, to step back to the bird name frustrations. Probably the least helpful bird names are the so-and-so's something, right? Especially if the something doesn't actually tell you much about what that bird is. But like so-and-so's warbler, so-and-so's thrush, like those are not very helpful. But perhaps marginally better than ones where the name is descriptive but not that useful. One of my favorite small birds, you're going to hear, I have a lot of favorite small birds, is the white-throated sparrow, which I admit has a very prominent white throat. So I'm not saying it's a bad name. But what they also have are 2 big yellow eyebrows, which to me are the more distinctive feature that I think should have gotten the name. Oh yeah, I've also taken to photographing food, but mostly because you cook. Yeah, I mean, that's also a good thing to photograph, right? Especially if you're proud of what you made. Like, photograph the food. Like, when... I haven't done it as much recently, but definitely over the past few years as I explored cooking new dishes, whenever I made something new and I was happy with how it came out, I would take a picture of it just as a, I made this, you know? Yes. got the little guys on the left, the plant on the right. The yellow goatee one, I don't think... The upper yellow goatee one isn't in focus. The bottom one does have a yellow beard, a yellow goatee as well. It's less round. Like this one is just like one round floof, maybe even just one or two feathers. Whereas this other one has a couple distinct feathers here. Let's see, was that all of them? Alright, that's all. Let's take a look at these. Oh, look at this little guy. Look at that face. Alright, what else we got here? Oh, tiny bird. Wow, look at that long leg. Long leg. Tiny bird, long leg. Almost hawk-like at that angle. Yeah. Yeah. And then into the tree. Even with the editing, it's still... This one's a little blurred. I cannot see if it's eaten anything. But oh, this is good. This is a good conversation. Look at this little guy. Just listening to parent and sibling arguing. Let's see, what about this one? Oh, the scream. Yeah. Look at this parent stink eye. The slightly furrowed brow. I don't think birds emote with their eyebrows the same way we do, but it feels like it when you look at this guy. Like, look at that. That's a line. That's a little angry brow right there. Like, you know what? I saw you foraging for yourself in that tree. I do not need to feed you every time you ask. The knife. Alright. Okay, yeah, this one's slightly out of focus for the upper bird. This bottom guy. Yeah, there we go. Bottom guy's nice and sharp. Yeah. Alright, let me see. Where did I see the... Where did I see the Parulas that were a little bit better? Like I was saying, I don't have any great pictures of these birds, which makes it a little bit of an awkward one to finish on. Maybe I'll put up a nicer bird picture, or we'll go back to the swamp sparrow to end. But I want to look at this bird because of its interesting color scheme. Like you can see it here, if I stop moving around. It's got like blue, orange, yellow, white. Let's see if I can find one. Maybe this one. Let's see if I can find one where I can get it to like passable quality. Let's crop in here on this guy. I think this one would be a fun vertical. Ooh, yeah, right? Like look at, and also like the little white eye line at the top and bottom. Let's see. So I don't think we need to hunt through all of these because I generally speaking remember which birds I have like good pictures of versus ones that I'm like, oh well, I saw it. This one I just think was so distinct and striking that I wanted to show it off on the stream. Yeah, that one didn't edit too well. I think it was a little bit too dark. A little bit just out of focus. You got really nice detail on this lichen, though. Let me take a look at some of my other shots, see if we have any other ones with potential. There's one hiding in the tree. I don't think that one's gonna be as good. Blurry. Super blurry. Let's try you, and then I'll check on a different day. If this one doesn't work, because I know I did see them more than one day. Let's put this one horizontal. And let's see how the this comes out. Let's take a look. This one's a little better than the last one. It's still not great. I still think it's a little bit of a focus miss. I think I got the branch right in front of it and not it. And you know, I was saying that I probably wouldn't be able to remember which ones I tried manual focus for. But I do think, I don't know if it was this bird specifically, but it was on this set of trails where I was using manual focus a lot because there would be a handful of birds that would sit, like this one, on a branch in a tree a good distance away. But because of like the branches and all that, the camera would struggle to pick them out. They're in shadow. So I would try to use the manual focus to try and grab them. So I don't know if I can blame this one on the autofocus, but even without being a crisp, clear picture, I think you can still appreciate the pattern on this bird from here. Right, that like stark orange beard, but then another orange horizontal with the yellow and the blue. It's got nice colors, exactly. And like the distinct eye with the white stripe. Let's take a quick glance at the other northern Parulas I have. See if one of them's better. So these ones were taken on Bar Island. Oh, there it is, flying out of frame. Okay, worse angle, maybe a better sharpness. I'll try this one, though it feels like the head is a little bit out of focus here. But these ones were taken on Bar Island, which, if you're not familiar, is the island that Bar Harbor is named after. And Bar Harbor gets its name in that, or rather Bar Island gets its name from during low tide, a land bar connects the island to the mainland for about 3 hours, an hour and a half before low tide and an hour and a half after low tide. So it's only accessible for roughly those 3 hours. So my family made sure to go there at some point, and walk around, see what was over there. Unfortunately, because it is only accessible for that short period of time, it does mean that it's very busy when you can get there. Like, especially the time we went, it was open in the, early afternoon. So like anyone who wanted to go could take time out of their day to be there. So like, I'm not complaining that other people also wanted to see it, but it was not the best for birding, since birds, they don't tend to care for large crowds. But yeah, here you can get a little bit more of those details. You got that yellow, the little bit of a rust colored underside, or like underwing there. And that orange on the chest looks a little bit darker on this one. I don't know if that's because it's older, or if the other one was like that too, but the lighting didn't quite come across. Yeah. So let's see. Before we go, because we're now well after time, let's go back to where we started. There are plenty other birds here, though I think we have hit all of the like really good ones, like all the ones that had very good quality. I think there's some birds here that were certainly new to me that were exciting to see, that we haven't really gone to. But let's go back to our initial bird, our swamp sparrow, just like where my trip ended, with this morning hike at Sur de Mont. I'll crack my knuckles, stretch. Everyone take a drink of water. I think we'll end on this little guy for for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming and hanging out. I think I wasn't really sure if what how the stream would go, but I figured there was enough things to talk about that I could probably yap about every bird. And love the detail. Yeah, me too. I don't believe you were here at the very beginning, but this one in particular was taken shortly after dawn. On the penultimate day I was up in Acadia, and just my father and I got up because the rest of my family's not early risers. We got up and we did some dawn birding, and this swamp sparrow, every once in a while you find a bird that's just as curious about you as you are interested in it. I think this swamp sparrow was one of them because I could swear that it was coming closer to us rather than further away, at least for a little while, right? Trying to get a good look. So that the nice lighting, it being out in the open, it looking at us, made for a really nice detail. Yay, good photos, hooray! Well, I'm glad to hear it. If you are interested at any point of just seeing more little guys, more little birds, I did post it earlier, and it is linked in all the other places that I have our links. But I do have mordiocrow.ink, where I upload all my little creatures. There's also like VTuber lore and our social links and all that. But I've got my photo decks there of all the creatures that I've managed to photograph and identify, of which I think there's 170 something at the moment, and none of these ones from today, well, most of these ones from today are new, so they haven't been uploaded yet. I think there may have been a couple that were repeats or things I already have up there, but if you're ever interested in browsing a bunch of little guys, I got them there, though not all of them are quite at the quality today. We did start with the ones that I think overall were better quality photos. I certainly have ones in here that are blurred shaped identified. Oh wait, no, I can't end. I forgot about the Winter Wren. Don't worry, this one will be fast. I just saw it in the side there. I gotta show the Winter Wren. I gotta show this little guy. It's so tiny. So tiny, so cute. Oh, not there. I know I have, and there's not many pictures of it. Let's see, we got this one. Okay, that one's probably a little better. Oh, and this is it starting to teleport away. All right, this photo right here, we will edit this one. Yes, Borb. This one was another one that we tracked down with sight. This was not from the dawn one, so we had more of my family around. One of my other siblings was able to get a much better photo than I did because we had sort of split up and were looking around for this bird. We could hear it, but we weren't quite sure where it was at. And it hopped up on the side of the path right next to that other sibling who was able to snap some good pictures. But I'm pretty happy because I still was able to get this one, and a few others with it too. And this is just another bird that's new to me, and honestly, wrens are so, I don't know if it's just me, just my experience, but like wrens are so skittish that I feel like it's tough to, I feel very lucky when I get even a decent photo of one. I remember trying to get a photo of a Carolina wren, and for like months I had seen 3 or 4 of them, but I'd only ever gotten a picture of their butts as they like run away from me. But Borb, yeah, look at the little Borb. It's so cute. It's so tiny, and it makes such a, I don't know, followable set of beeps. But all right, I was starting to end stream. I can't keep reminding myself of other little birds. Golden crowned kinglet. No more. Anyway, I hope people enjoyed this non-standard stream. It's probably not a type of stream I can do that often because I'm gonna, one, like I said, we've already hit most of the photos that were particularly good from this trip. There's probably a few more birds that were good, but and I unfortunately don't get to go out on birding expeditions all that often. But maybe every once in a while after I take a break, it'll be something that I'll return with when I can. Let me put us on over to closing. Alright. We're free from the birds now. Now put us over to closing as I talk about what we've got for the rest of this week, which would be tomorrow is our peak collab with Nova, myself, Hambone, Katie, and Nova in chat. There was someone else who confirmed as well, right? I think I know, but I want to make sure before I say a fifth person. I believe there might be a fifth person as well. Wait for Nova's. Nova there. No? Okay, no, there's not a fifth person. Never mind. Glad I didn't say anything. Those are the four of us tomorrow for peak. And then the next day, on Thursday, I'll be continuing Lies of P Overture. Cutting our way through the DLC bit by bit. Last couple of streams I feel like have been smooth progress, but I don't know how long the DLC is, so I don't know how much longer it'll be. And then on Friday, Nova is starting a new game whose name escapes me. Give me one moment. Oh, I didn't log the schedule this week. Let me see. Nova. Oh wait, Nova, did you not post the schedule this week? I don't think it's my fault. Nova, you ran the schedule by me, right? Did you not post it? Well, that's fine. On Friday, Nova's starting a new game. Nova will put the name in chat. I do not recall it, unfortunately. And it might be a one and done sort of Dordogna. I know very little about this one, but I know it's supposed to be a shorter one and maybe a one long stream to go from start to finish. So give that game a glance, and if that seems like something you're interested in, do feel free to come back. Alright, as for us here tonight, I don't think I'm going to raid tonight because I am super tired. I didn't sleep much at all last night thanks to work, so I'm gonna go to bed. And thank you so much everyone for coming. I hope you've enjoyed your time here at the Liminal Branch Library, and we hope to see you again soon. Goodbye and good night.